Hi, my name is Isaac Miller, and I have a project for you that I'm calling my roommate exit interview. I have a series of about 11 questions that I prepared to ask my roommates of 3 years. And in 2 days, myself and 4 of my roommates are graduating. We've known each other throughout college, and I thought it'd be kind of a special experience to make note of this time and our thought process right now and our memories in order to save them for the future. So I'm going to also interview myself, I guess, and read out the questions. What is the fondest memory you have?
Fondest memory, for whatever reason, was Alex just dumping her entire plate of hash browns all over the floor, and then everybody just being super pissed at her because it was so unnecessary. She had something else that I wanted to eat. It wasn't the hash browns. And I went to grab it, and then I just shoved it in my mouth and ate it really quickly. And then she got pissed off, but not actually mad. So then I faked it again where I went for the hash browns, and then she just threw them in the air all over the living room. And we were all just kind of, she was laughing, and then I was just shocked that she just did that. The fact that it was like everybody got involved, and it was just such a chaotic situation, and everybody knew that it was chaotic, and it kind of represented like us as a house. Like, it was really stupid to do, but nobody was like actually that mad.
I think there was one night, most of the best memories were always drunk, but I don't know, me, Sammy, and Alex just ended up in Carson's room, and we were just being super drunk and obnoxious in there, and that was a good night.
We had April Fool's sophomore year. This is after 8 months of us all living together in the same house. And I decided I want to pull an April Fool's prank on the girls. And so I got the worst photo I had of them, put it on like a lost dog poster with certain characteristics underneath them to help identify them if someone found them. And it said, "Have you seen my roommate?" Then that night, I got Carson in on it. I printed up 20 of each of the posters and stapled them to all the telephone poles leading up to campus. So the girls had a big laugh of it that morning, and then Hannah, while in class, I'm pretty sure, made up posters for both myself and Carson. And then I think on those posters she says, is shorter than Hannah. I think for both of us. Her posters were better than mine. They were funnier, but I had the original idea. And the funniest part of the story is she started putting them on all the telephone poles, and then probably, she said, like 5 minutes afterwards, the police were behind her path taking down all of the posters, and she was afraid she was going to get arrested or something. That was a fun memory.
When we set up a tent in the living room and all slept there that night, that was that was really funny. I honestly don't remember how the idea formed, but all I remember is that someone said we should build a tent and sleep in it overnight in the living room, and all of us were immediately down. And I think Isaac and I did a lot of the building process, and we took everyone's blankets, everyone's pillows. I don't know if we had any mattresses. I can't remember if we did or not. But we were just like taping them up, and we made this giant, like covering the entire living room with blankets and pillows. We had a lamp in the middle of it holding up the top part. And then we all slept in there that night, and it was really fun.
I guess there's not like one specific one, but some of my favorite times have been us just like not planning to hang out together, but just we all like migrate either to someone's room or to the living room and just have like random conversations about things. Those always kind of seem to be the times when we bond the most, if you want to say. I don't like that word, but like we just hang out, and like I feel like I really get to know things about everyone that I didn't know before.
What traditions did we have as a house?
occasionally we would all just be like, hey, let's all go out to dinner. And that was honestly my favorite tradition. We started that actually freshman year before we became actual roommates. Freshman year, we had our first official family dinner, and we went to Woodworth, and that was really fun. Also, all of us went to Elliott that one time when Alex twisted her ankle. That was another fun one. We've gone to Texas Roadhouse. We go to Dumpling House literally all the time. Puertas to get margaritas. Food related.
Yeah. Well, I liked our little walks we had for a while to get out of the house. It was mainly me walking and everybody else jogging. I like that a lot. It was nice to get out as a group and like out of the house and get out into nature for a little bit. It was always a nice change of pace.
Decorating for Christmas. That was once again usually with the Hive. Play Christmas music and get dressed up in sweaters and just completely deck out the whole house, and that was always so much fun. That was another favorite time of mine. So
I have quite a few. Here's one.
You have a question? What over here? No? Back over here. Question? How can I help you?
This one's pretty funny. It's also of me trying to film a dance combo and almost dying. Not really. I'm being dramatic. But that one's pretty funny.
There was just a panorama of all of us in Dumpling House, and everybody's kind of having a normal conversation, and like we just do little things that kind of shows off our personalities. People are like smiling and giggling, and then the camera comes to me and I have the chopsticks and I just go like this really fast. So I like that because it was all of us as a group.
I think it was last year. We had all just gotten back. We went to Dumpling House, and I like did like a panorama of everyone there, and everyone just like looked happy. Like everyone just like looks like they were like genuinely enjoying themselves, and I think that's one of my favorite ones, just because, I mean, we all look like a big happy family.
So what was that?
That was supposed to be my Halloween costume, but when I say supposed to be, I had no intention of going out in public looking like that. That was just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna do this and see how it looks. The girls did my makeup and got my face tats, so.
I don't know, like we were just hanging out one night and Carson just put it back on his head and wore it around for a really long time. And we took a bunch of videos of him.
I like the one that we have framed where we're all on the steps, and for whatever reason, like I think it was like a combination of the plaid shirt and then the baseball hat. That was the worst. I look like an angry farmer in that picture, and everybody else is so happy. I think you guys woke me up and were like, hey, we're gonna do a group picture, and I was like, hair's not done. I just threw something on and went out there, and I just looked like bloated and like just gross overall.
The best photo on my phone is probably this one. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a picture of Carson and Hannah back to back comparing their heights. Carson said this in his interview, but it's been the topic of many debates whether she is taller than him. And actually that she's taller than me, which is completely false.
The Scooby-Doo one's really fun. I also like one of the first pictures that we took was all of us sitting on the couch, and like Isaac and Carson are like on the ends, and the rest of us are in the middle, and I don't know. I just think that's another good one that I like. I like the group pictures.
If your roommates were to describe you in one word, what do you think they would say?
Lazy. I think that's the go-to one. That's like the big joke. Nobody really jokes about me going out and like drinking and stuff, but like they'll be like, hey, you haven't moved from your room all day. Have you done anything? I'm like, well, I got out of bed. Does that count for something? So I think I go with lazy, yeah.
Carson is Carson. Can I use that? Carson's word is Carson. Confusing, I guess. And not because, well, okay, I would say that solely he's confusing because one second he's saying something totally stupid and like inconsiderate, and then the next, like I'll be like upset about something and he'll like actually be there to like talk to you. And so it's like, where did these dual personalities come from? Like, this doesn't make sense. But yeah.
Goober. That's the word I would choose. He's actually insane. I never know what is going to come out of his mouth at any time. I so wish I could just go inside his brain just to like see how it works, because I have no idea how it does. He does this crying thing all the time, like wah! Or like the little Michael Scott, like bleh, with his finger out his pants.
What the fuck did you say to me, George Bush?
Mom,
Why do you think that is?
I care for everyone, constantly cleaning. I am in charge of all of the bills. I make sure that everyone applied to graduate. I made sure everyone registered for the ceremony, made sure everyone bought their cap and gown. Yeah, just constantly being like the mother of the house.
Sister. Yeah, but like it's got some weird connotations to it. I think we look very similar, and so I like making the joke of like people like, oh my god, you guys are brother and sister. And I'm like, no, we're actually dating. I was gonna go with mother originally because she's often looking after me, and I come home hungover and she's giving me water and making me food and stuff. So it's like, but I think that sister family relationship kind of.
She's kind. She's one of the sweetest people I've ever met. She's very considerate and too hard on herself. I find that very endearing, and I know as time goes on and she realizes how awesome she is, that confidence will come and she'll kind of come into her own.
The first word that always comes into my mind is whack. I know that I can be a lot, like screaming and all over the place, or I'll be crying 2 seconds later, have no idea why I'm crying, or I don't know, like, and then all of a sudden, you know, like I'll have like an actual like academic thought and I say it and I'm like, wow, that's so different from what I was doing 2 seconds ago, like, that's whack.
Hilarious. She's absolutely hilarious. Probably, aside from Carson, one of the funniest people I have ever met. Again, never know what's coming out of her mouth. She just makes up phrases, just off the top of her head, that make no sense but are just so funny.
Caring, because that's everything she does is pretty much for other people or for mostly kids' benefits, so yeah, I don't know, irritable.
Hannah, driven. Hannah's obviously had like a lot of different paths during her time here. She switched her major a couple times, but she's always passionate about what she wants to do.
Short. She's so small. The fact that anybody could look at us and be like, oh my gosh, you guys are like almost the same height. You need to get your glasses changed if you're thinking that.
I think that's changed over my time here. I would hope that they would say that
Creative. This project, this right here, what we're doing, is a great example of Isaac's creativity. I have seen every single project that Isaac has done, whether it's random pictures of Ball State, random ugly pictures of me with the fisheye camera.
I think dedicated is a good word. I was gonna go with athletic, but that's
not true anymore.
maybe if this interview was a year ago, we blame that on COVID. Yeah, I'd say dedicated. The stuff that you do and the projects I've seen you work on and the time you spend putting into them is absurd in my mind, especially when I'm doing the bare minimum in the other room. Well, you have to start back in the dorms, because I guess that's kind of where we all first met. And
people were starting to talk about living arrangements for sophomore year. Meanwhile, I had signed a premium plan, so I was under the impression I would be in the dorms for 2 years. But with a PowerPoint presentation, I convinced my parents to let me move out.
Hey, need to live with people. And then I remember we had our first house dinner and Noah pissed off Isaac so bad that he got up and left. I just remember being so nervous after that. I was like, oh God, this is gonna be a disaster.
Sammy and I were roommates in the dorms, and then Isaac, Carson, and Alex lived on the same floor as us, and then we all kind of decided we didn't like the dorms and decided to move into a house together without a lot of us didn't really know each other.
And then just going through, just like progressively getting closer with each other. Sophomore year at the beginning was obviously a little iffy.
Rough starts in there. I was really anal about certain things that I should have just been like, it's not my problem. I think I was like, didn't want to have to pay too much for electricity, so I was getting on the girls about using AC. They hated me for that, and that was cause of many arguments at the beginning.
I think that was sophomore year. It was around that time we threw a party. I don't think it was actually a Halloween party. And we were all getting really close, and I remember messing around with Sammy, and we were next to your room when you still were out in the kitchen, and she opened the door and she closed it really fast, and I was like, what's going on? What is he doing in there? Like, because you had just like gotten back, and we were like, oh, come out with us, we're having a good time. She was like, don't do it, don't go in there. And as she's saying that, I opened the door, and you're butt naked, huddled up, like, oh my God, get out of my room, slammed the door, and then we all had a good laugh about it afterwards. I think that was one of the moments that kind of brought us together as a house.
Right at the start of junior year was when Sammy and Hannah were both gone for the first week of school, so it was just me and the goons. No, terrifying.
First semester junior year, let's say, we got Zelda, a trash can cat, basically. She came from the streets and was very mean, did not like being inside. So we started letting her outside more. She ran away, never came back. Usually she would come back, but she stopped coming back eventually. And I was talking, so I'm a cheer coach at Burris, or I used to be, and I was talking to my cheerleaders and I was like, yeah, I know, my cat kind of ran away, and we think she died. Just kind of like being funny. And then one of my cheerleaders was like, oh, the dead calico on Jackson? We had another friend who had an extra cat and wasn't able to keep him anymore, and that's how we got Winston, and that was probably second semester junior year, I would say.
And then Rona, R.I.P. Miss Rona. Actually, she's still here, alive and well.
But then second semester sophomore year, we started getting close. I remember throwing a few parties sophomore year, and all of us hanging out together, and that kind of went into junior year. And just how we progressively built on like that friendship and gotten closer and closer, and now it's tough that after like 3 years together, it's hard to imagine moving on past like this house and this group of people. I don't think anything. I think everything that we went through, like good or bad or whatever, I think it was all fun in the end. Like the perfect college experience, I feel like we always, like if we were to go through, I mean, just look at the table. Like there's something on there that for almost every month that we've been here.
I would change what room I'm in. It's tiny, and I don't like the bathroom up there.
Having extracurriculars was good for all of us, and now the fact that, I mean, it's like how it was when you were quarantined with your family. I mean, eventually you can spend too much time with someone. So I feel like we didn't really make an effort to like hang out together as much, just because we were always together.
Just around, yeah.
Right. So there was really no need for us to set aside specific times to hang out, you know?
Keep in touch. I don't know, come visit me in Hilton Head, like for real, because I don't know. It doesn't really feel like goodbye yet, so I'm just gonna...
Take care of yourselves, please. I can't do it for you anymore. Learn how to clean. I'll help you. You can FaceTime me if you need any advice on how to clean something. I know how to do it, so...
Obviously, good luck in whatever you're doing, and don't be a stranger. I think that it's not very hard to stay in contact with how many things we have at our disposal. I mean, we've been a part of each other's lives for so long, I don't really see a reason to stop doing that. I'm excited to see what each of us is going to do in the future.
No, but I really am going to miss everyone, and on jaw, if people don't stay in touch, I'm going to throw hands. So, thanks guys. I I've enjoyed my time. Love you all. Miss you.
I'm really looking forward to pursuing my career outside of Ball State. I love what I do, and college is not the thing that I do.
I don't know. I'm really hoping that we all stay connected in the future and seeing where everyone's lives end up, because all of us are planning on very different things, going different places.
I'm looking forward to grad school. I'm gonna enjoy my break. I'm in no rush to head off to grad school, so I'm gonna enjoy that.
Just kind of finally figuring out what I really want to do, where I want to be, those sorts of things, because I would like eventually to move out of Indiana. I want to move to North Carolina. That is my end goal. I just have to grow a pair of cojones and actually go do that. But no, yeah, I'm excited to find my area of social work that I'm like super passionate about too.
It's gotta be just like the roommates. I think that we had a great house, but I think that if you take away or add somebody different into the equation of who we were living with and stuff, that might be a different, story of how our last 3 years, panned out. So yeah, it has to be the roommates.
I wouldn't miss the atmosphere of the house. Just like coming here, because we were here for so long, it felt like home. And even though I didn't come from a big family, so having like basically 5 siblings throughout 3 years is pretty awesome. Yeah.
I don't know, just like the way we like all got along together, and just, I mean, God, we've been here for so long, like I feel like I know all of you like better than I have like gotten to know. And I mean, even your friends from high school, like you don't live with them. You like know them, but you don't like know them. So I don't know, like even through it all, like annoying the shit out of each other and like learning each other's like the things that like bother us about each other, like we're still friends in the end. So
I'm gonna miss constantly being around people, like constantly being like around friends, because like after this, like we're all moving to different places. Like I'm living in a house by myself, like that's terrifying. Like the thought of like I'm just afraid I'm gonna become a hermit. So like I'm gonna miss living with my friends, because like even after like grad school and everything, if I move home, like I'll be home, I'll be with my family. Like I'm not gonna be with friends. It's not the same, and like I'll just miss like the constant possibility for just like random shenanigans.
And we got 2 days until we graduate, and probably 2 days until I don't see you guys for like at least a year, which is kind of sad. I'm really gonna miss the people in this house. I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot, and I couldn't have done it without these people. Alex taught me to think about more people's situations. I think I was more of a stereotyping, generalizing kind of person. And when I would say those things, she would challenge me. And that forced me to redevelop my sense of self and my sense of what I actually believed in. Sammy really taught me that kindness wins. And simply by being around her and understanding the type of person she is, I learned how to be kinder and treat people with more respect. Carson taught me that I wasn't that funny. I think a lot of us here believe that Carson's one of the funniest people we've ever met. And when you think you're funny and you meet someone like Carson, it's like, oh, my thing is not the funny guy. And that's good to put in perspective, because then you get to figure out what you are. I don't think we knew what to expect when coming to this house, this 1821 West Jackson Street house. And I don't know what to expect with what's coming up in our lives. But I do know one thing, which is these are the good days. And I've been so lucky to have spent them with you. Thanks, guys.